at Black Enterprise. Welcome to another edition of Your Money, Your Life, our series on all things financial wellness. This episode of Your Money, Your Life is brought to you by Prudential, a 50-year partner of Earl G. Graves Sr. in his mission of creating sustainable generational wealth for the Black community. Find out why more than 25 million people turn to Prudential for guidance on building a legacy, and learn more at prudential.com/legacy. And that's kind of the perfect lead-in for this show and today's guest. I'm here with Ash Cash Exantis, the financial motivator, founder of Mind Right Money Management. Welcome to the show, Ash.
Brother Al, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. Always a pleasure connecting with you.
Man, you're like extended BE family, man.
But that's it. I say that all the time. I say, yeah, I'm definitely family for sure.
So, man, we're talking about legacy. I'm just going to say this right up front to our audience. Legacy, it may not happen until down the road to future generations, but the foundation for legacy is built in the present moment. It's built with your current decisions, your current choices, your current priorities. But talk to me about what you've been doing around this idea of legacy. Well, first of all, give me a broad definition of what you're focused on with your company, with your ministry, with your educational efforts to teach people about legacy.
Yeah, I think, I appreciate that. I think legacy for me is really what you leave to the world that makes the world better, right? I know a lot of times when we think legacy, we only focus on the monetary aspect of it, right? We focus on, how many houses, how much money, generational wealth, which is a part of legacy, but it's not the full legacy. In fact, in 2019, my mother passed away, March 2nd, 2019. And it was really at that moment that I really started to focus on legacy and why, legacy is more than just the money. It's about the work you do. It's about the passion that you do. Quick story is that I was tasked with writing the obituary, and in writing the obituary, there was a lot about my mother that I didn't know. And so I had to tap into one of my cousins who, kind of knew more about my mother than I did, especially in the Black community where, a lot of things are not spoken about, a lot of, information doesn't get passed down. And so for me at that moment, I realized how important legacy is, right? And so, I believe legacy is the knowledge that you have. That's why I write so many books, right? I have 10 books, 4 of them have been bestsellers. I have programs within my company that teach people how to write books about that, the knowledge, right? And even if we go back to our history as Black people in America, that was the one thing that wasn't passed down. Our stories, families were broken up, and legacies weren't being able to be passed down. And so, number one, I say your legacy has to, is the knowledge that you have, is the stories that you have. First and foremost, giving that back not only to your family but giving that back to the world. Number two, it's the work that you do. If 2020 didn't teach us, the pandemic and, Black Lives Matter, if everything that was going on didn't teach us that tomorrow is not promised, that it didn't teach us that, we can't just work for a paycheck. It's not about only money. We have to work for purpose. We have to do what we love what we do. And so, when it's all said and done, what is the legacy, right, that you're bringing, putting out to the world? And then, and I'm not saying one is greater than the other. Number three is your financial legacy, right? When it's all said and done, are you changing the trajectory of your family, right? And here's the way it all ties in too. If you love what you do and you do what you love, the rewards will come. If you're intentional about it, the rewards will come from a monetary perspective, and you're going to impact the world in which you'll be able to create the financial legacy, which then allows you to create the story that you're going to leave back. So they all work together. Just too often we've been trying to just focus on one. I am an abundant thinker. I think abundance is your birthright. And so I believe that and is better than or. And so I want us to all start focusing on all those different types of legacy.
One of the things, you and I have known each other for a long time. I can't even say how long we've known each other. It's been a minute now. Yeah. One of the things I've always admired about you is you've always been great at connecting purpose with financial ambition, financial goals. In other words, you're purpose-driven. You're a purpose-driven person, but you've always made that connection between if you don't have all the financial education and information, but you don't have a sense of purpose, then you generally can't do what you need to do with the financial information. Talk to me about that connection and how that ties into legacy.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great question because I think first and foremost, no matter what you believe in, I believe that we are all God, right? Little G, and God is an acronym meaning greatness on display, right? So regardless of what your religious background is, I believe that we're made in the image and likeness of God, and so if we're made in the image and likeness of God, we need to be greatness on display. We need to display that. And so when we only focus on just income or paying our bills or trying to get by, like I don't believe that's greatness. Great, like we're born abundant. And so every single day, all you have to do is be. You have to live on purpose and you have to be. Right, you not do, right, because a lot of people get stuck on doing. Like, what am I doing today? No, not what are you doing today. Who are you being today? And the great thing about focusing on your being is that as you continue to be, and I'm pun intended, black in the process, but you see what I'm doing there, right?
Yeah, I see.
As you continue to be, what's going to happen is that the abundance, right? You're going to be rewarded, right, for being who you are, because people pay for value, people pay for what you bring to the table, and you being yourself and being able to bring your full self to the table every single day allows that financial abundance. But here's the opposite side of the coin. The opposite side of the coin is that those who are only focusing on money, only focusing on getting by, that energy that it takes to try to have to figure things out doesn't allow you to truly be, right? And so a lot of people, for a lot of people, it's a separation. It's like, all right, let me get my money right first, and then when I get my money right, then I'm gonna be who I was meant to be. And I'm saying, be who you meant to be, because once you do that, that will get your money right, and getting your money right will allow you to maximize your full potential, because you really can't be great if you're worrying about things. You really can't be great if you're trying to figure out things, if you're living paycheck to paycheck. And we see with the data, we see with the way how we're spending money, is that we don't necessarily have a money issue. Some of us do, but a lot of it is not necessarily the money issue. The issue is we're not being properly educated on how to grow our money, right? I always say that there's 4 types of people in this world. You have consumers, you have producers, you have investors, you have philanthropists. Most of us are only that one person. We're only consumers. And so what happens with consumers? You have to work really, really hard to make money. You consume, then you end the cycle of your money. Now you have to work really, really hard for money. Then you consume and you end the cycle of money. I'm saying have proper financial education to say, yes, I'm going to consume, but I'm also going to produce some things. I'm going to produce some things that are assets that I can, continue to sell and create that cycle. I'm also going to take my money, I'm going to invest my money, so that way I'm going to continue to have that cycle. I'm also going to support those organizations, those spiritual places, whatever inspires me. I'm going to support those with my money, because we know from a practical and philosophical perspective, the more we give, the more we get. And so now when we become a consumer, a producer, an investor, and a philanthropist, now we're proper stewards of our money. And then now we have the ability to connect our purpose with our paycheck. And once we do that, that is the true sign of financial freedom. That is the true sign of leaving a legacy. Like it really isn't anything to do after that than just be, right? Because now when you connect them all together, you are working in your being.
And I tell people that it's not real wealth if the money doesn't circulate. So you're right. If you just consume and then the cycle stops, it's not wealth. That was money that came in, went out, it stopped, and you got to do it over and over and over again. And versus kind of having that multiplier effect of having the money serving a purpose, the purpose having an impact that not only benefits you, but benefits those around you, benefits those you're in relationship with. And therefore money circulates. And I mean money in the broadest sense of the term. Resources circulate, whether that's, food, shelter, education, experiences, anything that we, all those things that we associate with only wealthy people have, you know, because it's more than just how much money they have in the bank. It's the options, it's the things they get to do, and the places they get to go, and so I'm really, I'm a big fan of yours, but I'm really, really passionate about this idea of what you said. Be who you are authentically, identify the authentic value you bring to the marketplace or bring to the world. Do that, and you'll be rewarded for that value. You'll enjoy it more. You'll be better at it. And that will produce other opportunities and other growth and other things that you could do to get on this idea. And then ultimately, you do that for long enough, you will leave a legacy. You'll leave a mark on this world. People will remember, oh, that dude, Ash Cash, he was that dude. This is what he did. And that's what we're ultimately, talking about when we're talking about legacy. Yes, for our families, yes, for our community, even yes, for our nation, but even beyond that for the whole world.
Absolutely.
But I want to, take it a little bit different direction. You kind of already touched on it. What has that meant in terms of your work with clients, students, others who are being served by your company in this environment where, like you said, we were tested as a nation, as a world, as individuals, as families over this past year? Talking about, kind of having lots of reasons to take your eye off the ball of legacy and only focusing on how am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to get another job? How am I going to get my children educated? How am I going to take care and keep my family safe? What did you experience with the people that you're serving in this past year, and how did that change how you work with them and what you try to do to help them?
Absolutely. Great question. So, in the beginning, I think for a lot of us in the beginning, even as a financial educator, I had to figure things out. I had to pivot, and so, prior to the pandemic, prior to, everything that was going on, I operated my business in a certain way where, I relied heavily on speaking engagements, and relied on, doing workshops at colleges and, organizations and things of that nature. And so I had to sort of, have that pivot, myself. But, in the beginning, a lot of my clients that I was working with were in that panic mode, in that mode of, I don't know what's going to happen with the economy. Where's what's going to happen with jobs, and but I do think that it was a wake up call for a lot of people. Because when we looked at how rapidly people were losing jobs, now everything that might have seemed like theory, where financial educators, just like myself, yourself, a lot of folks who were like, you have to have multiple streams of income. Everybody thought it was it's a luxury. I'm cool. Now that message, rang loud and clear. And so a lot of people,
the other advice, the foundational advice that all of us give, you need to have 6 to 9 months of money just sitting someplace.
Absolutely.
Just in case you need to live off of that for a while.
Absolutely.
And you see a stark difference between those who had something that they could draw from and those who literally had nothing. And in some cases, some people were in that situation, they couldn't help you in that situation. But there are a lot of us that could have been socking money away.
Absolutely.
And like you said, got kind of caught out there but nobody expected a pandemic. Let's be fair to
right.
everyone.
Exactly.
But there's always something.
Yes.
There's always something. And so being prepared.
And that's the good part about it, though. Good in a relative way was that, most of the times when we're like, oh, you got to save 6 to 8 months, 6 to 9 months for expenses, multiple streams of income. We're talking, something that may affect a few people. But this was worldwide. This happened. This affected every single living human being on the planet. There was not one person that was not affected by this. And so that's...
I said every time, COVID don't care.
It did not care at all.
What your job is, how many degrees you got, where you live, COVID don't care.
Did not care at all. And so I think for me, there was now a level of, all right, let me take this serious. Clients were now, all right, tell me what I need to do. Let's get it done. But even from the perspective of legacy, I think that knowing, there were so many lives that were lost, people stop focusing on this fictitious notion of tomorrow. right? Because I think that was the biggest reason why a lot of people were like, I'm good. I'll get to 6 to 8 months, because they believed they had tomorrow. They believed in this notion that they could do it later. And COVID-19 also showed you that now is the only time that you have, that you can't bank on tomorrow, you know?
I know so many people that, got serious about their life insurance, and got
Yes.
serious about their wills and estates, and got serious about, like you said, the tomorrow things. Like, yeah, I need insurance. Yeah, I need to get my will together. Yeah. And suddenly it's like, wait, I need to take care of this now. And you're right. So it's, we hate the fact that it takes a disruption like this often to get us, like you said, to wake up.
Yes.
But a positive outcome, whether from a very bad thing, was that many of us have been, awoke now and are now take some steps. Even those listening to this show are listening because maybe a year ago they would say, your money, your life. Yeah, yes. It's not. Now it's like, no, I need to listen to Ash Cash. I need to find out what's out there, because I need to be prepared for the next time, because there's always going to be a next time.
Absolutely. And so, I think that was the biggest difference. And again, like you said, it's the silk. None of us wanted this to happen. We all want this to go away as soon as possible. But when we look at the silver lining, this is forcing us to get responsible with our life. The truth of the matter is that there's a new normal. Life is not going to go back to what it used to be. There's a new normal, and we have to operate in that new normal. And I'm just happy to be part of of that engine that's helping people become fiscally responsible.
Hold that thought, man. I'm going to deliver this message, but then I want you to go into some more detail about the specific things you're teaching right now around legacy. I know you got a couple of programs you're doing now. But let's go into the nuts and bolts of what you think people really need to know. Okay? This episode of Your Money, Your Life is brought to you by Prudential, a 50-year partner of Earl G. Graves Sr. in his mission of creating sustainable generational wealth in the Black community. During that time, Prudential and Black Enterprise have collaborated to promote the personal and social benefits of career, entrepreneurship, and money management. Today, as both new and continuing challenges present themselves, Prudential is committed to helping people build lasting legacies. Visit prudential.com/legacy to learn more. Okay, Ash, let's get to your good stuff.
No, absolutely.
So tell me what you're working on now. Tell me what you're teaching your clients now, and tell me what you see as the right way to go, if you will, as we emerge from an unprecedented year of experiences, go into a new year. We talked even before we went on air about 2021 really and beyond could be a really great period of opportunity beyond the crisis. But talk to me about what you're focused on in terms of legacy and your clients.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, this year, we started last year, but we, really revamped our offering. And broke it down into 3 different programs. And so program number 1 is what we like to call our Mind Right Legacy Builders program, which is a 12-step program that literally is giving our clients a step-by-step guide on number 1, how to change their mindset first and foremost. And then once you change your mindset, what are the practical things that you need in order to have the right financial freedom, the right financial foundation. So whether it's defining what your current money story is, so understanding what your story is, whether it's understanding your numbers and knowing where you are today and where you want to be, because a lot of times we only focus on where we are currently, but in order to get to a place, we have to have the vision to see where we want to be, creating those financial goals. And so our program helps them get their financial goals, short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals, creating your financial freedom fund the right way. We don't call it an emergency fund. We believe that emergencies or words have power. And so emergencies are only things that you're not prepared for. And so if you're prepared, then it's not your emergency fund, it's your financial freedom fund. So teaching folks how to get, their financial freedom fund, life insurance. We mentioned life insurance, but how do you what's the proper way to get life insurance? Is it whole life? Is it term insurance? Investing, starting businesses and creating multiple streams of income. And so it's a whole 12-step program that we have at mindrightlegacy.com, Mind Right Legacy Builder program. The second way is our Mailbox Money Academy, which is a way to teach businesses. I was about to say small businesses, but I don't believe there's a such thing. If you got a business, don't put that label of small business in there. Like, you have a business, you have a thriving business, and so we teach businesses how to scale their income using digital products. And then lastly, we talked about books. I've been blessed to be able to make a great income from books passively. My first book came out 2009, and I continue to write books, and I've figured out, and I've always self-published my books, and so I've created a program.
We reviewed several of them at Black Enterprise. I know I've reviewed a couple of myself, so these are really excellent resources.
Yeah, and so we also I've created a program to help other people monetize their knowledge by putting it in the form of books. So those three ways: our Legacy Builder program, our Mailbox Money Academy, and then our writing program have all been ways that we are helping people create stronger legacies for themselves.
What are the biggest? I want to focus on this area of mindset. You and I, talk a lot about that. Again, not just on media platforms and on stages, but in one-on-one conversations. Because if you really don't change the way people think, no matter how much education you give them, no matter how much knowledge they have, they're not going to make different decisions. They're going to make the same decision. There'll be smarter people making the same decision. Talk to me about, like, what are the biggest challenges you face? And I don't know if they've changed from, since before the pandemic to the way it is currently, but what are the biggest challenges you face in getting people who may not have an abundance mindset, who may have thought and been taught their whole life by their families or by their own experiences that this is just the way it's going to be, this is my lot in life? How do you work past those mindset issues, and what are the biggest challenges you face in trying to get people to just think differently in the very beginning?
Yeah, I think it comes down to two words: selfishness and selflessness, right? Most people, in my experience, that have a lack mentality and are not willing to understand that the world is bigger than their circumstance, they're all selfish, right? They are all looking at their particular situation, and they're saying, how can I get out of this situation? How can I better my family? How can I, it's all about I. And this is going to sound crazy to people who don't understand, but the fastest and best way to help I is to help we, or to help others. And so the more selfless you are, the more selfish you can be, right? And selfish in a way where you will take care of yourself better by focusing on other people in the right way than only focusing on you. And so that's the biggest mindset shift that I've been helping clients with. And I need anybody, if you hear the sound of my voice, I need you to understand, stop focusing on you. Because focusing on you, first of all, is so narrow, right? Focusing on you is such a waste of who you are. It's a waste of your experience. It's a waste of your circumstance. You were not put on this earth to only focus on you. The trials and tribulations that you've been through, the things that you've overcome, you were given those blessings. You still have breath in your body. You're still here today to bless someone else, right? Because there's somebody else. So I'll give you a prime example. 15-year banking executive. I started my career teller, worked my way up, CEO of a credit union. I did everything in banking. You name it, I did it. But I still almost went through foreclosure. I still almost lost my home. Imagine, right? I'm in Atlanta, so cost of living is low. So I live good in Atlanta, right? I got 20-foot ceilings. I got square footage. I live excellent, right?
Right.
But but God ain't get me out of that foreclosure into this 20-foot ceiling home just so I could sit back and look and be like, wow, look how. No, I'm a demonstration. Greatness on display. I'm a demonstration. So imagine if someone they never heard my story of almost going through foreclosure. They never heard, my car almost being repossessed. They never heard that as a grown man, I'm sitting in my car crying, looking up because I have a wife and a 2-year-old daughter, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make ends meet. Imagine if I never shared that story. And so now that I'm, living abundantly on all aspects, that story isn't for me. There's somebody right now that might be going through foreclosure who's like, wow, this brother just blessed my life because I thought that was the end all be all, but now I know that there's a way out. And so I just say that stop being selfish. Stop only thinking about you, because what they say, don't lose the forest for the tree. Right? You're focusing on the tree when there's a whole forest out there. If you focus on the forest, the byproduct of it is many trees, And so I think that's what the number one, if I could just break it down into one, people need to stop being selfish and look at your story, look at who you are, look to what you bring to the table, and how can you bless others in a capacity of who you are, because as you do that, then you'll start to reap the benefits of your blessings.
That resonates both from a personal finance, wealth building standpoint, but it ties directly to entrepreneurial standpoint. I coach entrepreneurs, I mentor entrepreneurs, and I tell people, if you only focus on your own needs, you will never create a business that will serve and make money for you. Successful entrepreneurs, successful professionals, successful service providers are laser focused on the other people.
Yes.
What do they need? What do they want? What do they say to need? And if you can find ways to create things, whether that's knowledge-based, media-based products, services that meets those needs, that's the very definition of entrepreneurship. That's the very so it's the value you bring to others, to your point. Not just, oh man, I want to make $1 million. Oh man, I want a big car and a big house. Oh man, that may be the ultimate reward. But to your point, and to use your words, to be selfish means to be selfless. To focus on the other, bring value to the world, bring value to someone else, and of course that value comes back to you. I think it's very, very powerful, particularly from a legacy building standpoint. Because again, when we think of legacies, and I mean in the broadest sense, institutions that have stood long after the founders of those institutions have left this world. And what we think about is what they gave to the world. Even if it made them and their families very wealthy, it was what they gave to the world first. It wasn't they got wealthy and then they gave to the world. It's that they gave to the world, and it. So I mean, I don't know how that dovetails into the work that you do with your clients.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It directly aligns, right? Because when the first thing, right, when we're talking about legacy building, when we're talking about Mailbox Money Academy, even writing books, it's about what you leave for the world, right? Every single year I read Think and Grow Rich. That's just something that I do every single year. That book came out in 1929. So we're talking almost, so in 8 more years that book will be 100 years old. But the Napoleon Hill Foundation still benefits from that book every single year. Every year it's still a best right now. Today, right. It's still a bestseller. It sells millions and millions of copies. Not only are people benefiting from the work he did while he was alive, right? But now the knowledge is all bottled up. And so, I'm always teaching about legacy and how you are using your knowledge and creating that legacy. But then also, again, to your point, what you said earlier, if someone if somebody wants to create a 6-figure business, yeah, you can focus and say, hey, I want to create a 6-figure business. But what if I said, forget the 6 figures? I want you to create a solution for somebody that's going, a problem that somebody has, charge $100 for it. And I want you to find 1,000 people that will pay you $100 for that solution. It's the same thing. It's a 6-figure business.
Except for one is finite, one is limited. One is limited to the result, and one is driven by purpose, which is unlimited.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, and this is the beauty of purpose-driven businesses and purpose-driven action is that what happens when you hit that six figures? If you say I want $100,000 and you meet that benchmark of $100,000, then what happens? But if I say find a solution to this problem and charge $100 for it, find 1,000 people, guess what the 1,000 people are going to do? They're going to be so happy that you helped them solve their problem that they're going to tell another 1,000. Right. And so so now helping others is actually going to allow you to exceed your expectations, because you are giving you're giving with other people in mind. You're being selfless. You're saying this person has a problem, I have a solution, let me provide it for them.
What I find amazing is that when we do it by accident. Like, we'll help somebody and get a benefit, but they'll think of it as financially successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're focused on, no, man, I need a 6-figure salary, or I need to get a raise. And all raises, bonuses, I tell you, there's nothing wrong with generating income. There's nothing wrong with getting paid. You want to get paid.
Yes.
But it goes back to, but what are you focusing on? Mm-hmm. Are you focusing on this dollar amount? Or are you focusing on this thing that you will do that will bring value, that will build your legacy? So purpose, value to others, leads to legacy. And the money is the way we keep score. I tell people that's what it is. Money is not really the goal. It's just the way you keep score. And so, yeah, you want to put points on the board, but when you're learning to play basketball, they're not saying, listen, let me show you how to work the scoreboard.
Right, exactly.
No, they're not telling you. They say, no, let me tell you how to play basketball, because if you score baskets, the scoreboard is going to record that on its own. You don't need to be bothered with that.
Absolutely.
But so much of what we've been taught about money, and again, I love having you as a guest, because you teach very differently than what we've been taught growing up. Is it really just about manipulating the scoreboard? Absolutely. As opposed to, no, this is how you do this so that the scoreboard will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
As we close out, and this has been kind of a theme among many guests on the show, and as you know, the theme of the show, this is your second time on the show, is about the wellness aspect, being psychologically well, emotionally well, happy, productive, content. And personally, like I do, because we're in this space, people who are really doing a great job on the scoreboard, but they have very unhappy, unsatisfying lives.
Yes.
Talk to me about how you work that into the equation, the idea of wellness.
Yes.
As a part of wealth. That if you don't really have wellness, you don't really have wealth, no matter how much money you got.
I love that question, right? So, I mentioned Think and Grow Rich. When you think about Napoleon Hill, when he lists the 12 things that make you rich, financial security is actually the last one. Right. So there's 12 things, right, to give you financial security. But another favorite of mine, so, I'm always on YouTube, always listening to stuff. But Reverend Ike, right, talks about prosperity teaching. And I love, I even have shirts made with Reverend Ike saying, so he has these 6 ways. He says good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and money is the last thing. And so, I believe that if you focus on good health being number one, your number one priority should be good health. That is good physical health, and because you goals, like
you know how I live, mental health, spiritual health.
Brother, you are goals. I look at your post, I'm like 60 where you are goals, and so I know how you live, right? And so good health has to be above everything, because good health physically, good health mentally, good health spiritually, right? And so once you have the right mindset, number 2, you want to focus on happiness. And this is why you want to focus on happiness, because you're in this space, I'm in this space. I know multimillionaires who aren't happy. I know somebody making $30,000 right now and is the happiest person on earth, right? And so money doesn't define that happiness. And so if you're focused on good health, you got good mind, body, spirit, and then now you focus on the things that make you happy, right? Then you focus on love, right? Making sure that everything you're doing in love. There's only 2 emotions on this earth. There's love and fear. That's it. Hate is a form of fear. Right? Anger is a form of fear. There's only love or fear. And so when you start to focus on fear and go and make sure that everything that you're doing it with love, right? So good health, happiness, love, you focus on these things. That's what's going to allow you to become successful, right? That's true success. Then from that true success is when you get to the prosperity. And when you're successful and you start to prosper, guess what's going to come? The money.
Yeah.
And if anybody who's listening to this and they're like, that's BS, just try it. Just do me a favor, try it. Focus on your mind, right? Focus on your health. Good mind, good body, good spirit. Work out, eat right, pray, meditate, do the things that give you good health. Then everything that you do, if it doesn't make you happy, say no. Only do the things that make you happy, and only operate in love. Do not stay bitter about anything. Only operate in love. Just do those 3 things. Do it for 30 days. Try it out for 30 days, right? And just tell me, right? Tell me if that has worked for you, because every single time, and I know, we're human beings having a spirit. We're spirits having a human experience, right? So I know that I'm not perfect. Do I have times where I want to cuss somebody out? Absolutely. Do I have times where, I'm from New York, I'm from the St. Nicholas projects. Does the projects come out every now and then? Absolutely. But, awareness is important, right? And so I'm aware, you're going in that wrong direction. Let me go back to good health, happiness, and love. And every single time I'm at that space, success, prosperity, and money always follows behind it. Always. It has never failed me as long as I've been alive.
And the other thing that follows behind it is, when you do this over time, is legacy.
Absolutely.
Like, what do people remember about you? Man, that person was a good person to be around. Yes. That person was very successful. That person helped so many other people. So even that builds into legacy. And of course, if you leave a financial legacy because you were healthy, happy, and successful, I tell you, it's not either be happy or be rich.
Right.
It's not, either make a lot of money or be a nice person. Mm-hmm. Our late founder, who we're still celebrating today, Earl G. Graves, was a great guy. He was a great person. He was good people. He helped people along the way. And as a result, no one has a bad thing to say about Earl Graves. That's part of his legacy. In addition to Black Enterprise as a business and a financial legacy he left his family. And, and of course, that, I'm emotional about, because of the impact that he had on me over the years that I've worked for Black Enterprise. So your point about that connection between health, help me with it. It was health, happiness, love.
Yes. Success,
money,
prosperity, then money.
And then legacy.
Yeah, then legacy. We're gonna add that number 7. Good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, money, legacy.
Man, I think that's where we're going to leave it right there, bro. Tell everyone how they can connect with you, how they can take advantage of the resources that you offer, get access to your books. I'm telling you guys, I'm a voracious reader, and I read probably 8 of your 10 books. I might be missing 2 of them. But tell them how they can get access to more, because we never can get all of your expertise into one show.
No, for sure. Thank you so much again for having me. You can visit my website, iamashcash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at iamashcash. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, everything. My books are available, ashcashbooks.com. Book course, ashcashbookcourse.com. Everything is available online. So iamashcash.com and all of those social media platforms as well.
Listen, bro, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for being a loyal family member to Black Enterprise. I don't think you ever say no to us.
Never. I told you that on text before. I said, listen, before you even ask, it's always yes. It's always yes. And truth be told, I always give you flowers when and you know what? I'm gonna stop giving flowers. I'm gonna give crowns now, right? So I always give you your crown when I get an opportunity to, and publicly. But I wouldn't be Ash Cash without you. Like I didn't even know you. I watched you on stage. I saw who you were, and I said, "Yep, that is the model." And I've modeled it. I use you as a template, and so I appreciate you beyond words. So me saying yes, like you will never hear no from me. If I'm doing it. If I can't do it, I'm gonna figure out how to do it. Yes. I'm saying this live publicly. Brother, I appreciate you beyond words that can express, for sure.
Man, the feeling is absolutely mutual, man. You make me proud. You make me want to keep doing the right thing, man.
Yeah, you better, because you got a whole, because I'm not the only one that feels that way. So you got a whole army of mentees who are looking like, you better stay right,
That's right. Good mentees will keep you straight, mentors.
Absolutely,
Good
absolutely.
mentees will keep you straight. All right, bro, man. Nothing but love for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
This episode of Your Money, Your Life is brought to you by Prudential, a 50-year partner of LG Graves Sr. and his mission of creating sustainable generational wealth in the Black community. Find out why more than 25 million people turn to Prudential for guidance on building a legacy. And you can learn more at prudential.com/legacy. I'm Alfred Edney Jr., Senior Vice President, Executive Editor-at-Large at Black Enterprise. You've been listening to Your Money, Your Life. Take care.